Hello everybody and welcome back. So here we are. We've made it to my final video of the year, which I cannot believe I'm filming right now. It feels like just yesterday I sat down to film my 2020 favorites. Where has the time gone? So yes, I'm going to be talking all about my favorite makeup products that I discovered over this year. Most of the products I'm going to be talking about did come out during this year, but some of them came out past years, but I just discovered them this year. So basically this video is the ultimate roundup of the year. I actually looked back at all of my past monthly roundups to help me come up with this edit, and oh my goodness, I fell in love with so many products this year. I did feel like I wanted to mention even more than this, but these products are the ones that I reached for the most, the ones that felt the most special and just in general bettered my routines. I feel like this video is going to be a lengthy one. I have a ton of products laying out in front of me. So before we get into today's video, I'd love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It means so much to me, and let's get to it. I'm going to be going in order of application so we don't get confused. So I have a couple of primers and glow boosters here. So the first primer I have in front of me is the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Putty Primer. I love this stuff, as you can tell. It's very well loved. This may or may not help me fight acne. If it does, great, but I actually just like what it does underneath of my makeup more. I don't really count on my makeup products that have skincare benefits to do anything for my skin, just because I don't wear makeup on the everyday. But this stuff is really nice and hydrating, but it does an amazing job at smoothing out the base as well. So when you put on your foundation, it just gives you such a smooth looking canvas, but it keeps you feeling hydrated, but it doesn't get greasy or oily during the day at all. It's just the perfect primer, especially if you have an oilier skin type. This was amazing in the summer, but it also is really great during the fall and winter months as well. So it's an all-year product for me, and I see myself keeping this in my rotation for a very long time. I have tried the other putty primers from e.l.f., but this one by far is my favorite. Plus it's this gorgeous matcha green color, my favorite color in the world. So love this stuff. It's a great one and I highly recommend you trying it out. I have another drugstore primer here that I fell in love with. This is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. This does everything you want a primer to do. It lengthens the wear of your makeup. It also is a great one for oilier people out there because it does mattify your skin without it feeling dehydrating or anything. And it's not a silicone primer, but it blurs just like one. It just does everything. I loved it the moment I put this on. And those are my two favorite primers of the year, both drugstore, which is awesome. I do have two glow boosters, which I'm very thankful for this year because I discovered that the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter broke me out like crazy. I wish I knew that in 2020 when I was dealing with a lot of acne. I think that was a huge contributor to the amount of acne that I was experiencing. So I have two here that replaced them. So the first one is the Auric Glow Lust. This one is incredible. It has a nice thicky dew. It has a nice thicky dew. Thicky Doo. That's so cute. It sounds like Scooby-Doo's thick girl cousin or something. Sister? I don't know. Anyways, completely lost my train of thought. Thank you. I just quickly swatched one of the shades I own here. This is the shade Selenite. This one's a bit light for me at the moment, but you can really see how reflective it is. I prefer this formula over the Charlotte Tilbury one because the Charlotte Tilbury one did dry down after a while, which to a lot of you might be a plus, but I liked how this one remained creamy and like dewy feeling on your skin without your hair getting stuck to it. It just felt really nice and hydrating, which I like. So this is a product I used a ton this year. And the other glow booster I wanted to mention is the iconic London Radiance Booster. I use the shade Champagne Glow. This is quite similar to the Auric Glow Lust. I just find that this one has an even finer pearl and it has a thinner consistency as well. So it's just kind of a sheerer version of the Glow Lust. So you can see them side by side here. So this is Auric over here and Iconic London over here. To me, they're same but different. I feel like you can't go wrong with either one. I actually use the Iconic London one over top of my foundation more often than under, just because I like it as a highlighter. And I use the Auric one underneath foundation more so. I don't know why, that's just what I like. So I fell in love with both of these things. They both have a place in my collection and in my heart, most importantly. So whatever one you're most drawn to, I would say you're golden. literally. So now let's talk about the skin tints and foundations I fell in love with this year. So the first one I want to mention is the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This is my favorite base discovery of the year. This is just incredible. It's so easy to use. It goes on within seconds. It blends out flawlessly every time. It also has such a beautiful softening effect to your skin. It blurs almost, but it also adds this beautiful glow to your skin that isn't too much. And this is also super long wearing. The shade range is amazing. Just everything about this is perfection in my eyes. It's become my go-to foundation if I want more of a full coverage look. I would say that this has a medium amount of coverage, but it's amazing for events. I wore it to all of the weddings I went to this year. It lasts all day, all through the night, and it pairs well with virtually any primer or glow booster or anything that goes on top or underneath of it. It just works with everything. It's not fussy at all. Next up, I have a skin tint that I fell in love with, but I found it to be very unique. This is the Fenty Beauty Ease Drops. This is the base I'm wearing today. I would say that this has a bit more coverage than I'm used to for a skin tint, and it also has a very unique finish because it has this velvety, blurring matte finish to it that really stood out to me. This was my number one go-to in the summer, especially if I was wearing makeup for a very long time, because it would keep my oily skin at bay and it would just look great all day without melting away. Although this one has an interesting finish and a bit more coverage than a regular tinted moisturizer, it just looks like you're wearing nothing. It's amazing. I have so many shades in this now. I need it at every moment of the year, at any point of my skin tone. Another skin tint that I fell in love with this year is the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body. I think they reformulated or maybe revamped the shade range of this, but I never owned the previous Face and Body before this one came out, but I love this stuff. This one replaced the love I had for the Glossier skin tint for years. I like how I can get that Glossier skin tint vibe, very sheer but dewy look, but you can also build the coverage of this one up using your fingertips. You just warm it up on your skin and all of a sudden the coverage builds out of nowhere. It's really, really interesting. I love how it's adjustable. It's very versatile, easy to use, and predictable. I really enjoy this one. And the last base product I fell head over heels in love with this year is the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. This stuff is incredible. It's everything I wanted the glowish skin tint to be. It's very dewy looking, but at the same time, it doesn't feel dewy on the skin. It has a beautiful pearlescence running through it that's very thin and sheer and fine, so it doesn't look texture enhancing at all. And for a tinted serum, it does have a bit more coverage than I'm used to seeing. But with that being said, it does have a better wear time as well, since it's not super slippery or emollient feeling. It just grips onto your skin and looks incredible. If only they could make this a pump, then it would be absolute perfection in my eyes, but the packaging is a little bit dumb and hard to work with and travel with. I'm sure this would get messy in your bag real quick if you're not super careful when you put the dropper back in. That's my only gripe with this one. So now I have a couple of concealers to talk about. So my number one favorite concealer, and this did come into my life a little bit later in the year, but this has been the only thing I've been putting under my eyes pretty much. It's the Lancome All Over Concealer. Amazing. This is amazing. I use this every day now. I don't think about any of the other concealers I have in my collection much. I would say that this one has a nice medium to full coverage. It has such a thin consistency that under your eyes it just feels like a light coverage concealer. It blends out very quickly and seamlessly, and it lasts beautifully throughout the day. I've never come across a blurring concealer. It's very interesting. So this paired with my favorite under eye blurring powder from Pat McGrath just makes for the most beautiful under eye look I've ever done. I can't express how much I love this stuff, so I'm just gonna move on. I think I accidentally said that I had 3 concealers. I actually just have 2, and this one kind of isn't even a concealer. It's the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix. This is just an eye brightener or a under eye corrector. but there's so many shades. I use it as a concealer. It's just a very, very light coverage concealer. Now this is a product that people either love or hate. I'm someone who loves it. This is my number one go-to if I'm doing a no makeup look, or just a lighter makeup look in general, or if I just need to cover up my under eyes a little bit so I can move on with my day if I'm not wearing makeup at all. It's fantastic. It truly just brightens up under there by adding a little bit of coverage. I don't even know why I love this stuff so much. I feel like it just makes you look like a cute, tired person. Like I'm just moody. I don't know how to describe it, but I've used this so much over the year. I had to mention it. So now I have 3 powders to talk about. The first one I fell in love with is the Kosas Cloud Set. This has replaced my love for the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder, whatever the name is. This is very, very similar, but it adds a bit more glow. It does have a very fine pearl running through it, so it does amplify the glow a little bit. So if you don't like that, I have one that's similar to this without the pearl. I'll mention it in a second. But this one is so powerful. You only need a little bit. I'm going to touch up on camera right now because I'm looking a little shiny. I'm going to use my powder brush, and it just blurs out your skin without having to do much. It's amazing, and it's a really great one to touch up your makeup throughout the day. It doesn't really create layers, so it never looks cakey. I can use this all throughout the day and my skin will remain looking amazing. I like using this as a setting powder or a finishing powder. As you guys know, I like to go in with a little bit too much blush often, and sometimes I put a little layer of this one right on top and it takes it down the right amount. It's a true makeup saver and it makes my makeup last a long time. I love this powder. Another one that's very similar to that one without the pearlescence like I just mentioned is the LYS powder. This one is also very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury one. I just prefer this one over the Charlotte Tilbury one. I find that the effect of the blurring and setting lasts a lot longer on me. I feel like it's a bit more powerful against the oil, so it's great for oily skinned people, and it's an amazing match obviously to the LYS Triple Fix foundation. So I had to mention this one as well. It's made it into my rotation heavily. And of course, the last powder is the Annabelle Perfect Matte. I never thought I would find a dupe for my beloved Pat McGrath Blurring Under Eye Powder, but here it is, and it's cheaper and it's bigger, so you can use it all over your face without feeling bad, and there's no flashback. It just does the best job at setting your makeup and your under eyes while blurring those areas out like crazy. Still shocked that I found something similar to that. I do have one setting spray that I fell in love with this year. It's the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. This one will hold your makeup on there all day. This and the Hydro Grip Primer sandwiched together, bulletproof. It will never come off until you want it to. It's the first setting spray that I saw a dramatic difference in the longevity of my makeup. And if you accidentally add too much powder, then you need to add some more hydration to your face. It does an amazing job at rehydrating that area too, while making it last longer. Incredible stuff. It's like hairspray for your face. I have a couple of bronzers now. The first one is the Patrick Ta for Face Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I love Patrick Ta's brand. I'm going to be talking about a ton of his products in today's video, but I love this one because it's just versatile. You get a 2-in-1 situation. I love layering both of these formulas on top of one another or just wearing either one alone. The cream side is a bit more of a balmy consistency. I think it's kind of similar to the Fenty Beauty cream bronzers in a sense. This one's just a bit more pigmented and I feel like it has better longevity. And the powder bronzer up here is very unique to me because it does have a fine pearl. It kind of reminds me of a bronzer version of the Kosas Cloud Set in many ways, and it just gives such a nice diffused chisel. I have pretty significant dents in this one, and I feel like this is a true treasure in my collection. I have another LYS product here. This is the bronzer. I use the shade No Limits. Oh, no. Motivate, which is the light shade. It's the same kind of formula as their setting powder, so it blurs as you apply it. That bronzer is very similar to this one from Charlotte Tilbury, but I do actually prefer this one now because it's a bit more pigmented, so it does a little bit more for me, and I find that this one gives a more intense bronzed look. So if I want more drama, I reach for this one. This has become my new favorite go-to matte flat colored bronzer. There's no pearls. It's just a beautiful matte powder bronzer. It's just simple. It blends out flawlessly. You don't get any harsh edges, and it lasts a very, very long time. This was a summer staple for me. And this is another powder bronzer that I really, really fell in love with. It's the Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. This is incredible for lighter makeup days or no makeup days. It's a gorgeous, luminous, sheer bronzer. It doesn't add coverage to your base at all, so you can even wear it without foundation and it won't look odd. It will just look like an actual tan. The luminosity that's in here is gorgeous. It just mimics the look of real skin. This one beat my love for the Huda Beauty tan tour. This is my new tan. It's so good. So now, before moving on to my blushes, I actually only have one highlighter that I fell in love with this year, and it is the MAC Cream Color Base. I have two shades. I have Pearl and Hush, but Hush is my favorite. It's very, very close to my skin tone, so it looks even more seamless, but this is so nice. You can't even see the pearl when you swatch it. It's that microscopic, but it has such a nice glow to it. Oh, it's so good. And it also doesn't feel creamy once it's on your skin. It feels like it sets down, so it wears a really long time and your hair doesn't get stuck in it whatsoever. So it just looks like a cream but feels like a powder, and it lasts all day. It has such a nice sheer base. That's my favorite thing about highlighters, is when you can't see the base at all, but you just see that reflect once the light hits it. Oh, it's so good. It has the thinnest consistency. It just has everything I've been looking for in my perfect cream highlighter. Amazing. It almost looks glossy, but it doesn't feel balmy or sticky at all. It's amazing. Ooh, I just love a good find. Now let's move on to my blushes. I have a lot here. So I think my number one favorite blush of the year is the Rose Inc blushes, specifically the shade Foxglove. I have not been able to set this down ever since it's made it into my collection. Like, my blush collection could disappear, but if this one got left behind for some reason, I'd be okay with it. Like, what's happening? This blush has changed me. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's so good. The texture feels so nice and thick and rich, but it goes onto your cheeks very sheerly. It has an amazing wear time, and it's also incredible because you can wear it on your lips for a cute monochromatic lip and cheek. I won't spend too long talking about it because I've talked your guys' ears off about this one, but this color is just a color out of my dreams. It's that perfect kind of sun-kissed, peachy, pinky. It has all of the colors I love the most in blush in one. I don't know. I did pick up 3 more shades after I fell in love with this one, but this one still remains my favorite. Once it's on your cheek, it doesn't have a super dewy texture, but it does have a nice glow to it, but it sticks down and stays down and lasts all day. The color does not fade whatsoever. It's one of the best cream blush formulas I've come across. Some other cream blush favorites of the year are the M Cosmetics So Soft collection. I actually am going to be talking about the contour and bronzing sticks in the same breath because they are the same formula, of course. But these are so gorgeous and very unique. They're super pigmented and creamy, but you only need a tiny amount for it to have payoff. I also love the range of colors that they came out with. They have amazing blendability, but they also stick around for a very long time. They set down to like this powdery texture, so they just feel like you put on a powder blush or a powder contour after you've applied them, so they stick around for a while. I'm not huge on blush and bronzer sticks anymore, but these ones changed my mind. I think it's just because these don't feel super waxy or balmy. They're just beautiful powdery creams. My next cream blush favorites were the Air Matte blushes from NARS. These are very unique. They have a very interesting texture. They're very airy, as the name of them suggests. They have this whipped feeling texture. It feels just like those silicone lip products, but for your cheeks. My 2 favorite shades are Gasp and Hush. Hushed or Hushed? Yeah, Hushed with a D at the end. This is Gasp and this is Hushed. Hushed is a very soft pink, which I like when I'm doing more intense eye looks or a lip look and I just want some subtle color on my cheeks. but Gasp was gorgeous in the summertime. It was such a nice complementary tone to my tan. But yeah, these stood out to me because of the blurring qualities, and they just have a really nice matte finish for a cream, and they also have great longevity. I have some more potted products to talk about. These are the e.l.f. Putty Blush and Putty Bronzer. I'm going to talk about them at the same time again. They kind of remind me of these in a couple ways. These ones just have a dewier finish, and they're also a lot more sheer. They just set down to that powdery state, so they stay on for a very long time. These almost feel serum-y because they kind of melt while you're blending, but once you're done blending them out, they settle down and set. But the colors are so beautiful. They came out with an amazing shade range in the bronzers, and a little bit of this product goes a very long way, and they simply just stood out to me a lot this year. And this is a really cute blush color. Finally found the name of this one. It's the shade Turks and Caicos. Oh my god, that took me a very long time to spot. I was just sitting here trying to think if the textures remind me of anything, but I think they're unique on their own. This formula feels very, very special to me, and I love, love, love them. Highly recommend trying these out. e.l.f. has had an amazing year this year. I feel like they've dropped nothing but amazing things. All of their new launches have become like huge favorites of mine. And now moving on to the last blush product. This is the Patrick Ta for Face Major Headlines Blush Palette. Now when this came into my life, I was hooked. I'm still hooked. It's my most favorite blush palette that has ever come out. I actually am able to use all of these colors, and they're beautiful mixed together, and they also suit a variety of skin tones. Like these are a little bit too pigmented for me most days. You just have to use the tiniest, tiniest, tiniest baby amount, and they're beautiful. When I first got this, I thought that these two right here were going to be my favorite, but it's actually the center shade. I don't have a blush like it in my collection, and I find it to be so flattering. It's this gorgeous, like neon-ish, not neon, I feel like that's gonna put a lot of people off, but very, very vibrant, flattering coral, and it looks so good. Paired with so many of the colors I gravitate towards. I'll swatch all of them while I'm at it. I really like the brownish shade because it has like a mauvey undertone to it that I think would flatter so many people. There it is there. Wow, so pretty. I didn't leave a lot of room for this bright pink here, but she's cute too. She's very cute. And it's a bit warmer against my complexion than it looks in the pan, but gorgeous trio. Someone's writing Esqido down the street. I really love having a palette version of these duos here. I think these were a part of my 2020 favorites, so these just had to be in this video, you know? It just makes sense. I was just ecstatic when he came out with a palette of my favorite blush formulas. So now let's get into eye products. So I have one cream shadow that I fell in love with this year. It's the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Mattes. These are so versatile, and she has every color and finish under the sun. She also has duochromes and triochromes. Like, she has everything your heart desires in these beautiful little tubes. These are extremely, extremely pigmented, so you only need a tiny bit, but they also blend flawlessly and effortlessly. They're great to use as bases. You can just use them on their own. You can use them as liners. They're opaque enough to be liners. You just do anything with these, and it's amazing. My favorites are Nude 8, Nude 9, and Nude 10. They're just various brown colors that I think really flatter my skin tone and my eye color. Love them, highly recommend them. They just really ignite the artist within me, you know? I really treasure these things. I do have a couple of eyeliners. So Makeup by Mario created these beautiful pencils that are staples in my collection now. He came out with, I think, 5 shades. There's a purple and a blue one, but my favorites are Soft Brown, Perfect Brown, and the black one, of course. They're very versatile. You can do anything you want with them. You can use them as eyeshadows if you want. I mostly use them to do my winged eyeliner with. My favorite shade is Soft Brown. I actually repurchased it this VIB sale. It just is a nice soft brown that I think is very hard to find in eyeliner pencils like this, because some browns just lean a little too closely to black, but this one is perfect for everyday as you can tell. I'm getting close to the butt of the pencil. They're very creamy, so you have a lot of work time to blend them out or achieve your sharp liner without it drying on you and getting crispy and crumbly. They also last a really long time in the waterline, which is fantastic. These are amazing all-around pencils. I do have some other favorite pencils. These are from Maybelline. These are the Tattoo Studio Smoky gel pencils. They have the Tattoo Studio ones, but these are the smoky version. There's one more shade in this collection. I believe it's like a charcoal gray. I don't have that one, sadly. I'm gonna have to pick it up if I ever find it, but these are incredible if you want to do more of a smudgy look. It's my go-to for, of course, a smoky liner effect, or if I want to use them as bases. They do have good longevity in the waterline, but not as good as the Makeup by Mario ones. It'll get you by. It will for sure get you by. You might have to bring it along with you to touch up the outer bits, but it's not a big deal at all. I just love them for their blendability. This year I wasn't a super eyeshadow palette person. I was more like a one shadow and an eyeliner situation type of gal this year, but I have a couple here that really ignited my love for makeup. The first one is this little stack from Melt Cosmetics, which I don't believe is permanent in their collection, which is really, really sad. I hope that they reconsider, because this is perfect to have in your makeup bag. I have hit pan on this one shade. This was the shade that lived in my crease all year. Kind of gross. But yeah, I have significant dents on all of these shades. The mattes are perfect. I really love the Melt Cosmetics mattes. They just perform very beautifully. They're super pigmented, but they blend out effortlessly. Wherever I was this year, this came along. But my eyeshadow palette of the year was this one from Patrick Ta. I love this one. This is what I have all over my eyes today. I used the darker cream as my eyeliner. I used a couple of these shades in my crease and this shimmer shade all over. I really love how these shimmers aren't like metallics that we're used to seeing in palettes. They're all toppers. Love how see-through they are, and they just look like glass when they hit the light. I find them to be a lot more alluring to me this year instead of a full opaque pigmented shimmer. This is just a perfect eyeshadow palette to suit my eye color, and I just have so much excitement for this one. The mattes perform beautifully, the shimmers are gorgeous, and the addition of creams in here is just so fun. This is another palette that has traveled with me a ton. The edges on the front here are chipping away. It's so scratched. So scratched. And I have one more eyeshadow palette that I could not include. It's the Pat McGrath Utopian Dreams palette. Oh, this one is so pretty. This shade right here is everything to me. I love, of course, all of the other colors, but this is what really kept me reaching for this one. It just looks so hypnotizing on your eye, and paired with all of these colors, it brings out more colors from within the shade. It's just magical. This one and Bronze Seduction are my two favorites. This one bumped out Midnight Sun. It booted it down the line. This one, I just love it. Now with Pat McGrath palettes, I think if you were to invest in one, you have to love the color story. And I always say go for the one that you see yourself wearing the most. Don't just get it because I love it. Get it because you love it too, most importantly. Now I have two mascaras I wanted to talk about. The first one here is the Rare Beauty mascara. Now this, all my other mascaras could leave. All of my other mascaras don't exist now that this one exists in my collection. It just does everything I want my mascara to do. It lengthens, it volumizes, it is super quick to apply. Like, I can get my lashes to look this good and this volumized in like 30 seconds. It also has great longevity. It holds the curl in my lashes, it doesn't weigh them down during the day, and it does not crumble, smudge, or flake. It's perfection. And the other one I wanted to mention is the Essence Lash Princess. This one replaced my love for the Marc Jacobs At Lashed now that that one is no longer available. I actually almost prefer this one now because I still have my At Lashed in my collection that I treat myself with every so often. This one does everything and more that Marc Jacobs At Lashed mascara did. I also like the brush a bit more because it comes to even a tighter tapered point, so you can really get into your inner corners, and it's a much thinner wand as well, so you don't have to worry about it touching onto your eyeshadow look or anything like that. Pardon me for all of the noises happening outside. So now let's move on to my last category, which is lips. I'm first going to start off with my favorite lip liner discoveries of the year. I think I only had 2, which is kind of shocking me right now, but I think all of the other ones were last year's finds. I'm looking at my collection right now and I think that's what went on. But I only have 2. The first one being the Huda Beauty Lip Contours 2.0. Now these are so much better than the original lip contours that she came out with. These ones are creamy. They just glide on so effortlessly. I love how they're in a mechanical pencil as well, so I don't have to carry a sharpener with me. But if you want to get a nice sharp point, it has a little sharpener at the end on the butt. And what I really enjoy about this one, which I don't usually like in lip liners, is that these ones do set down after a longer period of time. I like that because it doesn't fade away as quickly as other ones do, and it also keeps your lipstick from like bleeding or anything like that. It keeps everything structured and looking good and sharp. And you can also achieve a couple of looks with this one. If you do really enjoy that super sharp edge to your lips, you can achieve that, but I like this one because you can get kind of a softer line to your lips as well, so it doesn't look as harsh. But the colors are gorgeous. Honey Beige is my favorite shade. And my other favorite lip liners that came out this year are the Melt Cosmetics Perfectionist Lip Ultra Precision Pencils. Love these. They're amazing. I do see a huge difference from their past ones that they had. They're creamier and a thinner formula, but they achieve everything you want to achieve with lip liners. You can get that softened look if you want, but these are great if you want that sharp edge. A couple of my favorite shades are the red one that they came out with. I don't know where it is right now. Cashmere and Bear, those are the 3 that I've been using the most. I'm kind of stuck using those ones right now, so I haven't ventured out with the other shades, but they're a stunning, stunning formula. Highly recommend checking them out if you have been wanting a new lip liner. Now let's get on to lipsticks and lip products in general. I feel like I'm very picky when it comes to lipsticks and lip products. Like, it takes a lot for me to get excited about them because I feel like I've seen it all. But this year I found a couple of things that I have been obsessed with. My camera died and cut me off, which is entirely rude. But my #1 favorite lip discovery of the year is the NARS Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balms. Love these things. My favorite shades are Intimate and Brief Encounter. The entire shade range is gorgeous. Those are just the 2 I use the most often. I have doubles actually living in my purse at the moment. Even though that we're still wearing masks and stuff, I need to have it on my lips. They're so interesting and unique, and they're finally permanent, which is really nice. They were first limited edition, but I'm so happy they're here to stay. I just hope that they release more shades now. But anyways, this formula is interesting because they blur out your lips. They also hydrate your lips while all looking matte. I don't understand it. They're amazing. Now for tinted lip balms, and this might be shocking to a lot of you because I talk a lot of smack about tinted lip balms, but I do have a favorite, and they are the Glossier Ultra Lips. I love these ones so much because they give such a nice glossy finish to your lips while giving a lot of pigment at the same time while still looking sheer. So I think these ones are actually worth it. My favorite shade is Villa. It's such a gorgeous, soft, warm pink. I wore it all throughout the summer. And I also really adore the shade Portrait paired with the Patrick Ta blush palette, the middle shade I was just talking your ears off about. And my last favorite is Trench, which was gorgeous in the fall. I wore it a lot. It's a nice kind of caramelly brown. But look at that pigmentation, look at that shine. I think these are really nice quality. I found a really fun liquid lipstick alternative this year. They're from Wet n Wild. These are the Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousses, and they come in a variety of super fun shades. My favorites have been Sugarholic, which is this gorgeous kind of corally orange. This shade especially stood out to me is Love You S'more, which is this gorgeous brown. And the last one I loved is this super bright pink called Candy Wasted. This is a really great example of one of those silicone-y feeling textures. They're super, super comfortable. They don't dry out your lips. They aren't transfer proof, but they look like a matte liquid lip, which sometimes I'm in the mood for, but I don't want to have butthole lips or anything like that. These don't crumble or flake off, they just fade off nicely, and you're able to retouch them without having to wipe your lips off and start off from square one. And now for the last two products. I'm actually going to be talking about them kind of in the same breath because they're similar. They're the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks and liquid lipsticks. So these have a very similar formula. The liquid version is a bit more pigmented, so you'll get more of an opaque appearance, and these ones are a bit more sheer, but they have the same kind of texture and finish. They have that silicone-y feel, but they look powdery on your lips, as the names suggest. These did not come out this year. Maybe these ones did. I don't recall. I know these ones came out maybe a couple years ago, but I've rediscovered them this year and I've been completely obsessed. Specifically with the shades Stay Curious, that's what I have on my lips right now with a little bit of gloss on top. Teddy 2.0, Mare Cashmere, and Devoted to Chili. Here, I'll quickly swatch them. Devoted to Chili was my favorite in the fall. It just has a really nice kind of rusty color, and Stay Curious is my go-to shade right now. It's similar to that one I was just talking about, but more pink, rusty pink. It's really cute. I'm gonna touch it up right now. But I love how blurring these are on the lips. The pigmentation is great. They smell and taste amazing, which is a nice plus. And I feel like they just feel nostalgic because they're MAC lipsticks, but I just love the formula so much that I have not been able to put them down. I'm in a huge phase with those guys right now. And that covers all of my 2021 favorites. I do have a couple of honorable mentions here that I wanted to talk about. These ones just came into my life, I feel like a little too late to include here. I feel like I'm still in the testing phase, so I'm just gonna quickly mention them. I'm not going to get into them too much, but I wanted to still throw them in here just in case if you're asking. So I'm kicking it off with the Say Sun Melt bronzer. It's a gorgeous cream bronzer. I've been using it a ton ever since I purchased it this VIB sale. Gorgeous, but it's too soon to tell. I also was very tempted to talk about the Undone Beauty Unfoundation Matte Tint and Glow Tint. I love these products. I haven't been able to wear them much because I don't have shades that match me, so I've had to halt that for a moment. These MAC blushes, I recently picked them up. I've had a ton of the powder formula from MAC. They're nothing new at all, but these two shades I've been reaching for so much. Gingerly is this more nude one. It's such a gorgeous go-to shade on the everyday if I don't know what to pair my look with. And Burnt Pepper here is what I'm wearing on my cheeks right now. Oh, I've been so excited about these two shades. I also have the Undone Beauty Lip to Cheek palette, which is a 3-in-1 color cream, which I also wanted to mention the concealer palette as well. I find these to be so interesting and so smart because you get a sheer, medium to full coverage thing in one little convenient compact. Amazing. But I'm still testing them out. And I also wanted to mention these Fluorescence lipsticks. They remind me heavily of the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks, but even more special because they're in this gorgeous packaging and they have an insane design on the lipstick. They just feel so precious. The formula is amazing. It's just amazing through and through. I just had to mention it. And it's in porcelain. These are in porcelain. Are you kidding? I have two highlighters that almost made it into this video. The Trini London Cream Highlighter, which I find to be very similar to the MAC one, just a little bit more dewy and a bit more creamy feeling, but it has such a beautiful payoff. And I also was tempted to include the powder highlighter from M Cosmetics. Oh, it's so nice. It looks just like a cream. It's so nice. It's giving my Ilia powder highlighter a run for its money. And the last product in my honorable mentions is the Fenty Beauty Hot Chocolate. What is this? Fly liner in the shade in Big Truffle. Wasn't close at all. This is such a nice brown. I'm just questioning its longevity because it does have a felt tip and like usually felt tips dry out very quickly, but this color is so nice. I'm just gonna try to rub it out. It dries quickly, but I just wanted to show you the undertone. It's like a really nice soft warm brown. I've never seen a brown quite like that in a felt tip eyeliner. But there we have it. There's my 2021 makeup favorites. I'm so excited to see what comes out in 2022. Let me know a couple of your favorites that you discovered over this year. I'd love to know. But that is all for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give this video a like. It would help me out so very much. I'll make sure to link all of the products I mentioned in the description down below, so feel free to check that out. And I'll see you in the new year. Love you. Bye.